The president's State of the Union address was incredible, but we're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on the response of Joe Kennedy III because it's so funny and it's a great learning experience. Do I have drool coming down my mouth? Welcome to the program, friend. Let me set this up for you. So the State of the Union address was a couple nights ago, and hopefully you saw it. I've got to tell you, we've watched every State of the Union address since Ronald Reagan was president. It doesn't matter who's in office, doesn't matter if I love or despise the president, he's still the president, and it's the State of our Union, and it's the address. And you get to see the politics, and you get to watch the crowd. So it's important. For us, it's like a spectator sport. We invited another family over, all their kids. We had chairs everywhere, popcorn, desserts, ice cream, drinks, and we're sitting there with a big flat screen watching, yelling at the screen, hitting stop, rewind. Did you hear what he said? Backing it up. Look at the face of that the person in the audience. So we take it seriously. We try and have fun with it. And then afterwards, I usually will watch the response of the opposition party. 80% of the time I've watched them. So we've got some clips from Joe Kennedy III, who was given the task of standing up to President Trump. And I'm sorry, but it was funny. And the speech was clearly written before the State of the Union. So he was walking in blind. Whoever wrote that speech for him was walking in blind. Now, what I want to do is I want to play the first clip and have you take a look, and then I'm going to respond. All right, go ahead.
This is a difficult task. Many have spent the last year anxious, angry, afraid. We all feel the fractured fault lines across our country. We hear the voices of Americans who are forgotten and feel forsaken. We see an economy that makes stocks soar, investor portfolios bulge, and corporate profits climb, but fails to give workers their fair share of the reward.
All right, so did you hear what he said? That they do not give the workers their fair share of the reward. You have to ask yourself, who wrote this? Now listen to me. The purpose of his speech was to consolidate the Democrat base because President Trump's speech got a 75% approval rating. He focused almost exclusively on the economy. The only divisive thing he talked about was illegal immigration and fixing our immigration status. So here's Joe Kennedy saying this absurd line. We see an economy that makes stocks soar, investor portfolios bulge, and corporate profits climb, but fails to give workers their fair share of the reward. Over 3 million people have in some manner, shape, or form benefited from President Trump's tax cuts. Now, the USA Today is not what you would call a bastion of conservative ideology. It's certainly not a friend of the Republican Party. But the USA Today, with a schizophrenic moment of journalistic integrity, released a story, actually several news sources released a story, talking about the big companies and how much money they have given to their employees, to the little guy, to the worker, their fair share. And they actually all said, to make it in this story, they had to say that it was because of the new tax policies that have been pushed for and obtained by President Trump. Okay? So let's begin. I'm not going to be able to get through this because it's so long, but I want you to look at this. And some of you are going to go, yep, that's me. Ready? Alaska Airlines, bonus, $1,000. Employees getting the bonus, $19,000. American Airlines, bonus, $1,000. Employees, $130,000. Apple, the bonus, $2,500 in company stock. That's worth some serious money. Employees getting the bonus, $138,000. AT&T, bonus, $1,000. Employees getting the bonus, 200,000 people. Statistically, there are people watching right now who got that $1,000 bonus from AT&T. This is the worker getting their fair share. I'm going to run out of time in this segment. I'll just do as many as I can. Bank of America, $1,000 per employee, 145,000 employees getting it. Citizen Financial, $1,000, 12,500 employees getting it. Comcast, the bonus, $1,000. Employees getting the bonus, 100,000 people. This is a long list. This is an incredibly long list. And Joe Kennedy, please wipe the lip balm off your mouth. Joe Kennedy got to stand up there and lecture us that the worker doesn't get his fair share. How can you possibly say that with a straight face? It's not possible unless you are a pathological liar. Maybe, just maybe, there's a little demon sitting on his shoulder whispering lies in his ears. Joe, in addition to the lip balm, it's not drool, people. He wasn't drooling. Do you got a demon whispering in your ear? I'll be right back. We're going to play more of his speech because it's funny and it's a learning experience. Don't go away. Today, many so-called Christian intellectuals believe that the God of evolution used billions of years of death and destruction to evolve the bodies of the first human beings. Then, they simply declare the theory of evolution as fact to justify their unproven scientific fallacies. By the grace of God, more and more Catholics are rejecting this modern-day mythology in favor of the traditional doctrine of creation, as recorded by the Bible, and believed and taught by all the fathers and doctors of the Church. To find out how sound theology and natural science confirm the sacred history of Genesis, visit the Colby Center for the Study of Creation, and be sure to check out our bookstore, which has titles like I Have Spoken to You from Heaven, A Catholic Defense of Creation in 6 Days, and A Catholic Assessment of Evolutionary Theory. That's the Colby Center for the Study of Creation. Welcome back, friend. Fortunately for Joe Kennedy III, child of privilege that he is, and that's okay. Generational wealth is a good thing. Just it's really tragic when it's in the hands of immoral and stupid people, okay? You can't fix stupid. And when you have stupid with money, you end up with Facebook, okay? Anyway, I continue. My wife said, when Joe Kennedy was watching, she just sat there and goes, there's a broken car behind him. Why is there a broken car behind him? The hood is up on that car. And I said, no, he's trying to say, hey, look, we're teaching young kids how to fix cars. She goes, no, a hood up on a car is you're stuck on the side of the road, you're stranded, the hood is up. It means that the car's broken. She said, why don't they put a hangman back there? Maybe a hazmat suit, maybe a graveyard. Whoever came up with staging this really was just not an intelligent person. They just weren't. To put a broken down car behind Joe Kennedy was actually picturesque, because that's what America looks like if we continue to have the ideals of the Democratic Party running the nation into the earth economically. By the way, this is just about economics today. I'll get to the other stuff at the end. All right, let's go line by line, not for the whole speech, but let's just take a look at a few of the lines and show how deceitful and how foolish this poor young man was and is. Go.
A government that struggles to keep itself open.
Joe, it was the Democrats who would not cut a deal and then ultimately caved in. That's why Chuck Schumer was taking all the heat. The Democrats wanted the president to cave in on DACA and he wouldn't do it. And the Democrats caved in. The polling data, the reaction of the people shows that it wasn't the fault of the Republicans, homeboy. It was the Democrats.
Russia, knee-deep in our democracy.
Does anyone really believe that? Really and truly? We've had a year of investigating. No evidence that there was genuine collusion from the Russian government. Knee-deep in our democracy. I remember I went to the polling place and I heard the man talking with a thick Russian accent, asking for the spam meat. I want vodka. He was staggering drunk, a drunken Russian. Continue, please.
An all-out war on environmental protection?
Again, is this a joke? Because we're allowing the Keystone Pipeline, or because we're going to allow drilling in Anwar, or because we're going to have offshore drilling, this signifies a war on the environment? You know, do you remember, you probably don't, most of you are old enough, but the friends who complained about the Alaska pipeline swore up and down that it was going to destroy nature, and oh look, it actually helped the caribou population increase because the pipe served as a windbreak and gave them some protection from the howling wind and the bitter cold. Yeah, we're big people. We have oil refineries and oil lines and oil trucks all over the country. And when an oil spill happens and it's big news, it's because it's so rare. And what the fracking and what the new permitting for drilling for oil will enable us to do is be totally, completely free from Islamic terrorist funding. Because until we get into energy independence, you can go to your gas pump and think, hey, a portion of the money that I'm spending at this gas pump right now is going to go to fund those who want to kill me. It's absurd. What he's saying is absurd. Go ahead, keep going.
A Justice Department rolling back civil rights by the day.
Really? Joe? Really? He's just playing to the black vote, friends. He's just playing to the African American vote. Keep going.
Hatred and supremacy, proudly marching in our streets. Bullets tearing through our classrooms, concerts, and congregations, targeting our safest, sacred places.
None of us want bullets tearing through our most sacred places. But it's bad people that shoot people, okay? I've done this before where I took shoelaces, guitars, hammers that were used as murder weapons, all right? It's the Democrats who don't want you to have a firearm. You understand that in Israel there's very few things that happen like this? Because school teachers have guns. That way, the school teacher with proper training, if some lunatic comes into the classroom, the school teacher can take him down. He wants to blame the Republicans for the mass shootings. Why don't we blame the Democrats for making it so difficult for common people to be able to defend themselves? Joe, may I call you Joey? Joey, how come one of your friends didn't tell you before you got in front of that camera that you have Vaseline drooling all over your face? I was so embarrassed for the poor guy. I really was. I was embarrassed for him. I'll be right back. Don't go away. Have Muslim terrorists hijacked the peaceful religion of Islam? Or is there more to the story? The answer lies in the life of one man, Muhammad, the founder of Islam. Muslim terrorists see themselves inside a 1,400-year-old story, a narrative that focuses on specific events in the life of Muhammad. We are going to look at Muhammad's life using their most sacred literature. We will look at Muhammad at the Battle of Badr. We'll see him deal with those who mock him. We'll see the times when he used deception. We'll witness Muhammad's anti-Semitism. And yes, we will discuss Muhammad and his teachings concerning sex, slavery, and jihad. Friend, if you want to understand Islamic terrorism, get this series today. Welcome back, friend. By the way, I forgot to refer to his comment about hatred marching in the streets. Really and truly, since the president was elected, the only hatred that I've seen in the news on a frequent basis marching in the streets is the visceral hatred of Black Lives Matter, of young lunatics crying out against President Trump, of young women wearing the private parts of women exemplified on their head. I mean, come on. You have to be so brazen. You have to be Goebbels-esque to get up in front of a camera and hope to speak to millions of people and to lie like this. He's a liar. Joe, I'm calling you a liar. I'll call you a liar to your face. You are a pathetic liar. And if your last name wasn't Kennedy, they wouldn't have given you the microphone. So this is about dynastic rich money. The irony of this is that this man from this family is lecturing us about money and people getting their fair share. Get off your privileged butt and go get a real job and maybe try and start a business and fund some of these people. Don't just use a Mustang as a backdrop. Let me see your knuckles bleed while you try and fix it. It's probably the carburetor bearing or the muffler bearing that's bad, Joe, but I know you can fix it. All right, go ahead, keep playing.
And this nagging, sinking feeling, no matter your political beliefs, that this is not right. This is not who we are.
Well, I agree it's not who we are, but really and truly, this is a tale of two cities. There's the Ozzie and Harriet who we are, and then there's the modern day who we are. You know, we have to face it, friends. We are more deeply and bitterly divided than we have been since the Civil War. We just are, okay? On a multitude of issues. There was a time when the American ideal, founded on the Declaration of Independence, upon God-given liberties, God-given rights, there was a time when we had such cohesiveness in our culture that we had the Great Depression. We had hobos getting on trains, going from city to city, knocking on the doors of strangers, asking for a breakfast. And the people who had their house being knocked on weren't afraid. Can you imagine living in an inner city right now and a man comes up and knocks on your door and asks for a meal? You're calling the police. You're pulling out a firearm if you've got one. You're getting your pit bull up to the door to knock, because the cohesion of a Judeo-Christian ethic is gone. So he's right in one part. It's not who we are. We are a divided, tribalistic nation right now. All right, continue, please.
Folks, it would be easy to dismiss this past year as chaos, partisanship as politics. But it's far, far bigger than that. This administration isn't just targeting the laws that protect us. They're targeting the very idea that we are all worthy of protection.
All right. I know I asked, may I call you Joey? Can I call you Mr. Moron Joey? Can I call you Moron Joey? Moron Joey, listen, the laws that protect us have to do with something crazy like keeping gangs out, right? Keeping our borders protected. President Trump had the wisdom, it was genius to have people in the gallery who were victims. He took a play out of the Democrat playbook. So he had the moms and dads of two girls who were murdered by, was it M13? What's the name of that terrorist group? M13? In Long Island. They've arrested 400 people in Long Island, Governor Cuomo. So we do deserve protection, Mr. Moron Joe. We deserve protection. I don't want to be unkind. Just let's call him Slippery Joe because of the Vaseline on his lips. The laws that are there regarding immigration, they're there to protect us. Keep playing. Go ahead.
For them, dignity isn't something you're born with, but something you measure by your net worth, your celebrity, your headlines, your crowd size.
Well, hold on a second. The reason that you're there is because your last name is Kennedy. Just be honest, okay? You're a part of a multi-generational, multi-million-dollar dynasty. And I respect that. Man, I hope that I can create one. I haven't had good luck at it yet, but if I could create a multi-generational dynasty with my children and my children's children inheriting money, I would be happy. But I would want to know that they were using it for good, not evil. That they were using it for justice. So when you talk about that, for them, dignity isn't something you're born with, but something you measure, who are you kidding? You would kill people. You would kill babies, Joe. If they weren't wanted, they don't have human dignity because they're made in the image of God for you. They're just pawns to be moved around on your political table. What in the president's policies that he talked about in that speech had to do with the diminishing of human dignity? What is he even talking about? Friends, remember, he's not playing to reality. He's playing to the base. He's playing to the Democrat base that is fracturing and that is coming unglued. I've got to say one more thing. I know we're over, but listen to me. They had all this polling data that the Republicans were going to get their head handed to them. Remember, 2016 election. They're going to lose the House. They're going to lose the Senate. President Trump is going to get throttled. They were wrong. And now they're trying to sell us this narrative that because of President Trump, well, we're going to see the Democrats take over the House. They might even take over the Senate. It's the same liars giving us that data that gave us the data in the fall of 2016. What Would Mohammed Do? Islamic Terrorism Explained is the best movie series documentary ever produced on the life of Muhammad and Islam. How do I know? Because it's what critics are saying. John Moore, radio host and author, said, "I learned more from What Would Mohammed Do about Islam and Islamic terrorism than I've learned from everything I ever read and watched in my entire life." Best-selling author Dr. Bill Warner said, "What Would Mohammed Do is the best movie series, TV production on the life of Muhammad and Islamic terrorism that has ever been produced." Friends, this is what the experts are saying. No one has ever done what we've done. I encourage you to get 1, 2, 4 copies. Call 304-289-3700. That's 304-289-3700, or order it at the address or the website that you see on the screen. Friend, we have a series that will help you and those you love to have an impact on this country. It's called Insurrecta Nex. That's Latin for revolution against the killing of innocent people. This is the history, the philosophy, and the theology of social revolution in America. We look at the Stamp Act, the Boston Tea Party, the abolition of slavery, the abolition of child labor, women's voting rights, the civil rights movement. All of them have this in common: courage, sacrifice, dedication, and in-your-face tactics and rhetoric. That's one of the reasons that we've been losing the culture wars the last 40 years, is because the bad guys are using these tactics and we aren't. We will send you this 14-part TV series along with these manuals for students, a teacher's facilitator guide for only $40. Go to 304-289-3700, 304-289-3700. All right, friend, I've only got a couple minutes left, so let me give you some thoughts. First of all, if you by any chance did not see the President's State of the Union address, I encourage you, find it and watch it. Find it online, go to Xfinity or Comcast or something if you've got on-demand TV. Go to a friend's house if you don't have any of those kind of things. Watch the State of the Union address. It was the best one I've seen since Reagan's State of the Union addresses, without question. And it was genius because he started to go down paths that the Democrats didn't like. And then he immediately put up a human being to back up what he was saying. And a good portion of them were African Americans. The one guy was a welder. The 2 sets of parents whose daughters were murdered by the M13 gang, the Mexican illegal gang. It was genius. He had that Korean guy who held up his crutches, who had walked for thousands of miles to become free. Oh my goodness, I felt like crying, and then I felt like crying now. Friends, I'm just telling you, it was genius. And the Democrats are scrambling. They are frantic right now. Because what they've been able to do is they've been able to keep alive this narrative through their godless left-wing media and people like Joe Kennedy, who they put up and they puppet their lines. They've been able to maintain this narrative that somehow President Trump is hurting America. The problem with their narrative is that there are millions of people who have gotten bonuses, raises, benefits. Good grief, even Starbucks said that because of President Trump's tax cuts, they are going to give health care and or raises to a whole bunch of their people. Walmart said they're going to make the minimum wage, the lowest price they pay anyone, $11 an hour. They gave everyone a raise. Walmart. So the Democrats have held on to this narrative that President Trump is hurting the country, but suddenly someone goes, hey, the emperor's naked, and the emperor's not President Trump. The emperor is the Democrat leadership. And they want to win the White House really badly. They want to win. I mean, just watching Nancy Pelosi It was so bad. If you can watch the speech, watch it. Everything at our website is available to you. 95% of it is available for free. So if you like the things that you're hearing, go to randallterry.com and you can watch episodes, you can read my books, you can read writings that I've got. Just go there and be benefited so that you can become a militant member of the Church Militant. I'll see you soon.